Hello everyone, today we're taking a look at the Caddx ANT. I got it stuck to the back of my finger there. So, we need to start with the biggest piece of information everybody probably wants to know if you don't already. On my scale, it weighs 2.37 grams. For a little bit of reference, the Caddx EOS 2 weighs 3.67 grams. That's not the original lead. It does come with mounting holes that are 14 millimeters wide. Measure the board the other way, you get a little under 14 millimeters, if I'm holding that right. From the connector to the lens, it's a little over 18 millimeters. If we just want to measure from the backing to the lens, it's 15 millimeters. It comes with a wiring harness, a mounting adapter, a control board and the cable for the control board because you can change the settings, various screws for mounting, a support card, and a desiccant. We're looking at the 4.3 version here, which can do NTSC and PAL. Of course, I've already shown you it comes in silver. Also, Caddx is now using this weird kind of lens cap. As my wife walks by, we're going to do the sun test. The sun is kind of out between those two clouds. They're trying to come together. Got my cloth out, but this is a different cloth. Some of you might notice that the bleach stains aren't on this cloth. So we do the test from various lengths. To do it right up against the lens, do it about 1.5 feet, and then as far as my arm can reach, I try to extend it out. And I also grab a piece of cardboard, see if that makes any difference. I don't see any difference, but you might. Give these things to you for you to diagnose whether it's something that you want to see or not. Let's go into the flight footage. Gonna pop up off the ground and go for a little fly. I'm noticing a little bit of what I would call digital shimmer in the leaves. If you look kind of up in the distance, you might be able to see it other places, but that's something that I noticed right away. The colorization looks fairly true to life as far as my vision goes. Some of the brown spots in the grass, they look brown, and that is my daughter. She's our middle child. She is the one that's immunocompromised, so we have all been hunkered down through the process. She's out doing her walking. She walks the cul-de-sac. She goes back and forth. She loves to do her walking and do some thinking. She's quite a kid. I love her to death. But so we're gonna fly around the neighborhood just like we always do. Fly in and out of the trees, in and out of the shadows, kind of spin around, give you plenty of angles to look at different things, give you some sky to look at, some greenery. I think I go over to see my neighbor's truck here in a moment if I've got my timeline correct. Have to fly by her first. Of course, she's not even paying attention. She's got other things on her mind. Oh, I thought I turned around right there. Well, I did fly by it, so you got a chance to see the red truck. If you're new to the channel, red is one of those colors that can really kind of pop in FPV cameras, and some people do like that, and some people don't like that. I think the minority do like it. I think the majority would rather have a true to-life red, and I do think this represents that red fairly well. There we go. I'm finally getting back over there. Had my timeline a bit off. We also get to look into those different shadows, all the things that I typically do when I try to show you a camera. I do it in the front. The front has more things to look at. In the back, it can be really harsh, actually, especially this time of year where we've got leaves on the trees and everything, that if you fly through them, you can, at least in the goggles, you can get this flashing sense, almost like you're in front of a strobe light, that sometimes it's kind of harsh. And some of you may have noticed that in my review. It used to be way worse when cameras weren't so good. Most cameras now are pretty dang good. So this is not my first Caddx ANT. This is my second. My first one was strangely all lime green. I reset that. I don't know if there was something on the sensor or if something happened to it. I don't know. It was just lime green. I sent that sample to Caddx and was like, hey, this doesn't look right. They confirmed that that's not how it should look, so this does appear how it should look. And I'm sure you've seen other videos in this, because I'm probably about 3 weeks late, maybe even a month. I lose track of these things sometimes. I'll work on them, and I'll work on 4 or 5 different things kind of periodically throughout the evening, and sometimes I lose track of which is which. I kind of like going up this street. I wish my video and my control link range was really good like the DJI system. I'd have probably just done that slow cruise up the middle of the street without the cars coming at me. I thought that was kind of, it gave you that sense of abandonment, that everything was just empty, but yet you know it's not. Pull up to the garage here so you can get a look at fisheye if it's got any, if it's got it in some particular way that you don't like. You can look around the edges of the camera view. That is someplace that I've noted many people have talked about when they see distortion in lenses. It's oftentimes in the edges or the corners. There's also another Caddx camera that just came out. I forget the name, but we'll be taking a look at that one shortly. I haven't even started looking at that one yet. But that is a few good minutes of flying time around looking at the Caddx ANT. Let's jump into some nighttime footage that I've got. This will be very, very short because I really don't think that this is going to be something you're going to fly at night. I just kind of walked it around out in front of the house. And I think if you want to fly at night, you're going to have to buy a camera that's going to cost more. And I know many of you that live in very hot locations, you tend to fly at night because that's the time that's comfortable because of that heat. So I think if you want to do that, you're going to have to spend more money and maybe look at the Baby Rattel Starlight version or the Foxeer Toothless 2 Nano Starlight version. Let's jump into the menus, and you'll notice something that we also saw at the nighttime was the flashing, the kind of colors. When I go into one of the menu settings and I change it to auto, you notice that stops. And I noticed this, and I went out and did my nighttime test again, and it stayed the same. So it's just something that I noted a little bit, was that when you change the, what's the mode to, I think it's to auto, because it's tend to set with color. There's also black and white. And, oh, there we go. We're going to the day and night color, auto, black and white, EXT. I always forget that one. But you can see now we turned it to auto, that kind of stopped. So that's what I would suggest that you run. The nighttime footage didn't turn out any different when I switched it from auto. Of course, black and white, it's different because it doesn't show any color. I have yet to, in recent times, find a camera that does well in black and white. It either gets a smearing effect or it's just otherwise it's not as good as if it were set to auto or to color. But we get to walk through all the menus in case you wanted to see any of those menus. For those of you that are still around, what do you think of this camera? What is your plans for an installation of this camera? What other cameras are you looking at? Do you want or need a comparison between this camera and another camera? Please let me know. Camera testing, I think, is very important because I know I've grown to learn that many of you are very discernible about the FPV camera that you fly. I think I'm a little more indifferent, but I can respect the fact that you want what you want, and we all do. So tell me what you want. Tell me, do you want a comparison video? I do have the Nebula, this one over here. This one is already being revised, so this one is one that is analog as well as digital FPV. So this is being revised. This won't be coming up on my channel. I've got another one that's actually sitting up there on the desk I need to start taking a look at. So we'll take a look at that second sample, and see how this works out. It's fairly interesting. They're trying to go analog and digital. But as far as the Caddx ANT, what do you think? $14.90. They have them in both 16:9 and 4:3, so you can get either picture ratio, depending upon what you're looking for. And again, if I didn't say it, the input voltage is from 3.7 to 18 volts. So for a camera of this size and this cost, pretty wide input voltage, but depending upon how you see the image, you may or may not be interested. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please let me know in that section down below. I appreciate your time, and thanks for watching.